All right, this is part 2 of Let's Read Some Nietzsche. All right, I just did the first 2 paragraphs. All right, I'm just going to do a few more, and then I might let you guys do number 7. Okay, so let's just knock this out. All right, we just finished the first paragraph, and if you're just joining us for the first time, maybe you should watch the first video. But essentially, they're saying Nietzsche is saying that there's 2 different people within the community. There's the creditors who are the community, and the owers who are the criminals. All right, and then he is comparing the 2 people who are in the community, and they have advantages. They're protected. They're spared, and people who are outside are exposed. Um, he is saying essentially how the community is reclaiming what is owed, and how they are how the punishment of the civilization is just mimicking what people have done during wartime, and he's drawing those parallels between punishment and war. All right, and then the second paragraph is a little different. He's saying when the community gets bigger and stronger, they become more lenient, and that leniency is reflecting on wealth and power and strength, and how the stronger you are, the wealthier you are, the more lenient, the more forgiving you are. And I don't think he's a big fan of that, because at the end he's saying the self-destruction of justice, known by the appealing name grace, remains the privilege of the strongest, their ultimate super law. And essentially, from my understanding, is that he is saying that it's undermining the integrity of the legal system, and that just because you're more powerful, he's essentially saying it's going to get to the point where money and power is more important than actual justice. All right, and that's kind of where we left off. So let's just do a few more paragraphs. Hopefully this is helping you digest this, because I know words can be scary sometimes, but it's okay. You're with me, I promise. uh, so paragraph number 3: a word of caution against recent attempts to trace the origin of justice to resentment. Revenge, like a hidden F lower. F lower? That's a flower. Let's try that again. Revenge is like a hidden flower. Aw. Blooms most vividly among anarchists and anti-Semites, often masks as justice. Wow, that took a turn. Suggesting that justice evolves from a sense of injury. Okay. And it aims to rehabilitate reactive emotions. Ooh, we're getting deep. While these emotions have biological value, I emphasize this new science equity often disguises hatred, envy, and jealousy under the guise of fairness. True justice emerges not from the reaction but from action, and that this active, aggressive individual, free from reactive bias, has historically driven justice with boldness and clarity, contrasting with the resentful man who burdens history with bad conscience. Wow, lot to unpack here. All right, so let's break it down. So what is the main idea? Well, he is very critical, it sounds like, of the idea that justice originates. I think you Google doc. From what? From hatred, from revenge, right? From resentment, from resentment. All right. And he is distinguishing between the two, right? A lot of comparing and contrasting in these paragraphs. Um, between what? What is he distinguishing between? Reactive emotions and what? And maybe, let's see, contrasting with the resentful man. Alright, well, between reactive emotions and dot dot dot. This is when I'd go to the class and be like, and then you all say it. But you all can't talk to me because you're not in my presence. So I guess I have to answer. It would be active justice, right? He says it quite a few times. True justice, right? Or active, aggressive individual. I'll just say true/active justice. All right. I really like this sentence. Revenge is like a flower, blooms most vividly among anarchists and anti-Semites, often masked as justice. All right. I'll just quote one, and I'll just go revenge like a flower, dot, 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 and then dot, 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 masked as justice. All right, what do we think that quote means? And essentially, he's warning that people might mistake revenge and justice as the same thing, right? Warning that society / community / people need to be careful that justice and revenge are not the same, right? I really like that quote. And so overall, let's go back. Let's go back to a main idea. So Nietzsche is really saying he is very critical, right? He's critical of the idea of morals in the justice system, inside justice system. Remember, rehabilitate reactive emotions, right? We need to stray from emotions. We need to be impartial. Once again, this is just my take on it, all right? If you take it differently, that's good. But this is how I'm dissecting this. And so it needs to be impartial. What needs to be impartial? Justice. So justice needs to be impartial, and it needs to be active, right? He says active. It needs to be free from bias, all right, rather than what he would say passive. Okay, that's paragraph 3. Paragraph 4. Look how tiny. All right. Justice and the need for law historically arise not from the reactive sphere, but from the active, spontaneous aggression of the strong. I like that. Justice and need for law historically arise from the reactive. So it typically gets from reactive, right? Think of like the Salem witch trials, very reactive. Not from the reactive, but from the active, spontaneous aggression. Laws were established by these powers to curb the chaos of resentment. All right, so justice is to curb the resentment, replacing revenge. Maybe do a little. With order and impartial standards, stronger powers divert individuals' reactive fury toward compromise and resolution. Creating justice. Great. As a tool for peace, not as a product of resentment. I feel like Star Wars here. Okay, here we go. So, what's he essentially saying? We need to be we need to have spontaneous aggression of the strong, and we need to not be reactive. All right, so justice needs to stay strong, and not be reactive. He literally said in the first sentence. All right. I really like this where he says laws are established by powers to curb the chaos of resentment. Right. Right. Laws need to bring order. Right. Not chaos. Makes sense. Okay. Overall, I would say that just this is saying justice needs to be just kind of reiterating what we already know, but what he said in earlier. But stronger powers divert individual comprise pool for peace as power, not a product of resentment. So it needs to be order, not emotional. That's I think the big takeaway. Okay. I think we have time for one more, and then I would like you all to annotate and do the key ideas for 6 and 7, and then answer 1, 2, 3. All right. So let's do number 5, and then we'll call it a day. All right. So at its core, justice seeks impersonal valuation, shifting focus from the injury to broader order. Concepts like intrinsic right and or wrong are illusions, as life fundamentally operates through struggle and exploitation. Law, as a restriction of the life will, serves as a means to create stronger collectives. Okay. But it must never become a universal principle. And never is always a strong word, so I always like to do that with a different color. Universal principle. Undermining life's essential vitality. Systems treating all wills equally are not justice, but threats. So systems treating all wills equally are not justice, but threats to humanity's future. Whoa, deep. And then we're getting crazy, but it shows signs of decline, which I'm going to just do a different color, and to nihilism. All right, he threw some big words in there. Let's digest it. All right, let me. So, once again, I think this kind of is similar to paragraph 4. Justice needs to be about order, right? Where he's saying shift focusing from the injury to broader order, right? And I really think the concepts with intrinsic right and wrong, he's saying it's not just being right and wrong. We need to view them as like a philosophical construct, right? That we're observing the differences between power and struggle, right? And he says that right through here. Right, and the big takeaway is it needs to be through order, and we need to not get emotional, right? Not get emotional. We can't just say right versus wrong. No. All right. I really like the systems treating all wills equally are not justice but threats to humanity's future. That's pretty deep. All right. I think that what he's saying is he just is suggesting that treating all people equally leads to nihilism. And like, I mean, obviously it's just, it literally says that. But he's just critiquing the foundation of the modern philosophy at the time, and he's calling out that the pursuit of equality and justice are threats to people individually. So if we glue everyone together, it's going to hurt us in the long run. All right. So critiques foundation